It's a good thing that Epic has tons of money because they're going to be spending a lot of it in the coming years tied up in lawsuits in court. Hi, welcome to Zgadgetreview. By now you should be familiar with the whole Fortnite, Epic, Apple, Google lawsuits. Fortnite broke the rules, terms of their contract with Google and Apple when they decided to offer payments that weren't going through either the Play Store in Android's case or the iOS store or Apple store in the case of the iPhone and the Apple store. So by breaching their contract, they were kicked out of both stores. Apple kicked them out of their store and Google kicked them out of their store. Epic decided to sue both companies. Apple and Epic went to court. The resolution from that was that Apple needed to change their practices and offer third-party payment options for their developers sometime in December. Also, Epic was ordered to pay the amount of money that Apple lost during the time period that Fortnite was in the store, not going through Apple's payment system. At the same time, Apple does not have to allow Fortnite back in their store, which is something that, of course, Apple has said that they won't do. So Fortnite, as of now, is not in Apple's store. The thing is, Google and Epic did not go to court while this case was going on. Now, Apple is going to appeal the decision by the court, and of course, Epic is also going to appeal the decision by the court because that's what companies do. Appeals usually take years to go through courts, but now Google is countersuing Epic, and the reason they are countersuing Epic is because Epic technically lost their case against Apple when they were ordered to pay back the money that Apple would have otherwise received while Epic was doing what they were doing with Fortnite. And it makes sense that Google will do this because now there is precedent that the court said that Epic needed to pay back Apple for the time that they were in court, for the time that they were in the store, not paying the commission that they're supposed to pay to Apple. So Google now is going to say and use that precedent as their defense to say, hey, look, we have a decision here by a judge saying that they were in breach of contract and that they need to pay money back to this other company, aka Apple, for the time that they were infringing on that contract. That means that we also had a contract with them where they were supposed to do the same thing with us, this being Google, meaning that they were also infringing on our contract. Therefore, this should be a pretty easy, quick decision where they have to pay us back our money, right? Well, probably. Because since now there's a countersue by Google, technically this whole thing can go back into a retrial where maybe Epic will use a better defense against Google and try to fix the things that didn't work when they went against Apple the first time. But in my opinion, chances are that the outcome is pretty much going to be the same, where Google is going to have to receive money from Epic, and most likely Google is going to be forced to change their practices. Even though Google technically does allow third-party payments in a way, and they're being known to actually have contracts with developers where they actually pay the developer a certain amount of money in order for a developer to use the Play Store or Google's payment system, and that way Google can make some money. They lose some money on that exchange because obviously they're paying ahead, but they still make money for doing nothing, essentially hosting that person's services on their store. So it is not a total loss, but there is something that Google can say, hey, look, actually, we are not like Apple, completely 100% closed off. We do have options that we give our developers. We actually also pay our developers in order to use our services. So it's going to be interesting to see how that case develops if they don't settle, to see how that defense from Google works out against Epic, accusing them of a monopoly, and see if there's anything different that comes out of this case. And the reason why I said if they don't settle, because maybe Epic says, you know what, we already went through this, we know what happened, and paying, I think they were supposed to pay $3.5 million to Apple, paying pretty much the same amount of money to Google will be more beneficial to us, because the amount of money you're going to spend to pay that money to Google than to have to pay it to lawyers. But this being Epic, and Epic being who they have shown to be this far, meaning that they are very, hard-headed and set on their ways and what they want to do, I'm thinking that they're actually going to go to trial on this and, try the whole thing all over again. And I guess we'll be having some sort of update on Epic versus Google at some point. And of course, also Apple versus Apple versus Epic, because of these appeals that are going to be going through the court system soon. So I guess we'll see what the outcome of all these lawsuits are between Epic, Apple, and Google in the future. What do you think about these lawsuits? Do you think that Google actually will come victorious, or will Epic be able to defend themselves better against Google than they did against Apple? Or what do you think about this whole thing? Let me know in the comment section. That's it for me. Go ahead and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Go ahead and hit that bell so you can be alerted every time we have new videos. And thank you very much for watching.